Devin, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of your channel. I subscribe, it's the kangaroo and atheism and, all that. Great, love it. But you're sounding a little conspiratorial when you're trying to make these ridiculous connections between Al Jazeera and the Young Turks. We understand you don't like Cenk. Who could like Cenk? He's a dopey putz. But that doesn't mean he's in cahoots with Al Jazeera. You sound like a conspiracy theorist. This is like 9/11 truther shit. The Young Turks are just a bunch of progressive social justice nutjobs who pat themselves on the back and engage in daily circle jerks where they talk about the same 5 things over and over. Have I mentioned Iraq? Fuck white people. Fuck the cops. Fuck America. It's the same stuff. So please do not make outlandish claims that the Young Turks have some sort of partnership with Al Jazeera. It doesn't exist, and it discredits everything else you're saying.
Fun for everybody. We've got a new partnership. It's with AJ Plus. That's the digital-only channel for Al Jazeera. And they're doing a bunch of great content. Look, the overall thing is voice of the voiceless.
Yes.
That's pretty good. We like that. We like that.
We do like that.
Did you see Anna's reaction right there? As the word Al Jazeera dropped forth from the fat mouth of this Neanderthal, Anna gave a glance to the camera, breaking the fourth wall, almost like in The Office. So when the boss, whether it's the British version, the superior version, Ricky Gervais, or if it's the American version, Steve Carell, they're doing something crazy, and then you get this sort of protagonist character of Jim, or Tim, depending on the show. They look at the camera as if to say, I see you seeing me being in this situation. It's a plea to the audience. This is what inspires the humor. This is like a wink to the audience saying, are you seeing what I'm seeing? That's what makes it funny. Humorous moments do not come from watching somebody doing something crazy. They come from watching somebody doing something crazy. Because then you identify with the person watching and experiencing this crazy moment. And this is what brings enjoyment to you. So that's what Anna just did.
Fun for everybody. We've got a new partnership. It's with AJ Plus. That's the digital-only channel for Al Jazeera. And they're doing a bunch of great content.
This is a cry for help from Anna. Anna needs to find the eject button from that desk. When you show up at work and Cenk says, so today we're going to do a segment on our new partnership with Al Jazeera. With Al Jazeera. Oh, that calls for a glance to the camera.
Look, the overall thing is voice of the voiceless.
Yes.
That's pretty good. We like that. We like that.
We do like that.
Thing.
Wait a minute. The overall thing is the voice for the voiceless? That's your take on Al Jazeera and Al Jazeera Plus? Have you been to the channel? The channel is a rabid, Jew-hating, anti-Semitic, Israel-bashing frenzy. Type in Israel in AJ Plus and just look at what you get back. This is a purely hateful, Muslim apologetic propaganda machine. This is not an exaggeration in any way. You will be seeing it. I will be unfolding this before your eyes. You will be amazed. The voice for the voiceless. The voiceless? You mean the terrorists? These are terrorist sympathizers. The voiceless, yeah. The government of Qatar. The human rights violation capital of the universe. It's the voice for them. It's a voice for the Charlie Hebdo killers and how they were maligned by being called terrorists. It's the voice. You remember the girl? Remember that fat whale? The female version of Cenk? So basically, if Cenk decided to follow Bruce Jenner's path through life, we'd get this. This woman, who was attempting to smear all white Canadians and declare them to be racists, it turns out she writes a blog. You know what's on her blog? Articles such as this. Why I don't condemn ISIS. Oh, also, not to mention, thoughts on the normalcy of ISIS fighters. Yeah, they're just people. That whole article is about, I can understand, I sympathize with them, they're just regular people, I get it. This fucking whale is just an outright supporter of terrorism. It's insane. Why I won't condemn ISIS? Because doing so only feeds the ubiquitous floating distrust of Muslims. Well, guess what? However much distrust of Muslims I had before reading that sentence has just increased. It just backfired. Anybody who's unwilling to condemn ISIS, I completely distrust. And should. Because when you ask Muslims to condemn or denounce heinous actions, ideologies, or groups, What you're saying is that you don't trust any Muslim. No, we're saying you should be sane and rational and condemn evil people doing evil things. And if we cannot even agree to that, then what chance do we have at making actual change or fighting against this brand of evil? Because you're saying that I can't be trusted until and unless I vocalize dissent against an individual, an action, an ideology, or a group that claims to do something in the name of a shared identity. Yes, your little club, your death cult, Islam, has members that are doing something awful. If I belong to a club whose members did the same thing as ISIS, it is my obligation to speak out against those people. Not to mention, it is my obligation to rethink what the club I belong to is all about. And why am I a member of it? How on earth can I justify this? Because no one asks where the moderates of anything else are, but I need to constantly provide a Rolodex of names in a futile attempt to satiate not a sincere curiosity, but often just a rhetorical question with a poor point. So to condemn ISIS, that's a poor point, and I need to have a sincere curiosity about them and about what they're doing. I am sincerely curious about why they're beheading people. Yeah, I'm very curious. And that is a rhetorical question. I'm not. It's a sarcastic rhetorical question. If I condemn ISIS, I am, in essence, condemning myself. Well, thank you. That pretty much wraps it up. You are ISIS. You are a member of this terrorist organization, if not literally, in ideology, which is the entire problem. How could this sentence should be amplified, which is what I am doing now. I am condemning myself and my communities to the continuation of the never-ending onslaught of not ISIS, not the beheaders, not the subjugators, not the murderers, not the terrorists, of suspicion, dehumanization, and interrogation that is far from unique to us, especially when living as minorities. Wink, wink, an additional victim card, but is the most public. Okay, if I condemn ISIS, then I am encouraging the dehumanization and interrogation and suspicion. What? I can't even. That's the end of the sentence. Well, you know who I think is now less human? You. So yeah, I have just dehumanized you. Well, no, more precisely, you have just dehumanized yourself by being unwilling to condemn ISIS. My suspicion of you is now rightfully increased because you write things like, if I condemn ISIS, I am in essence condemning myself. And interrogation, yeah, some people in the sane modern world feel the need to interrogate people who pose a threat to civilization and to peace on earth, like you, like Al Jazeera. This is a good thing. This is a preventative thing. This is a calm and reasonable reaction to ridiculous acts of terrorism and terrorist groups such as ISIS. But I get away from myself. I go too far into this fat whale. Let's just rewind here. So this woman who works for Al Jazeera Plus, who is in favor of ISIS, unwilling to condemn ISIS, she is in partnership with Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks. This is not 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. This is 1 degree of separation between Cenk Uygur and the support of ISIS. Okay? You clear on that? You understand? It gets worse.
All right, so every once in a while we want to do a story on something, but it's kind of cool that Al Jazeera has its own reporters. So they go out, they do the story, and we actually want to use some of their content to kind of give you guys a bigger picture of the things that we talk about on the Young Turks. So it makes a lot of sense.
So they got a whole bunch of different things, right? You got explainers. For example, they explain in one short clip how gun violence in America compares to the rest of the world.
Yeah, you're missing the point though. They're animated explainers, which makes them extra fun.
So they go, this is the difference between the US and... That's not animated,
That's not animated, but anyway, that's all right. They also have satire and comedy, something that you try to do but don't really succeed at. And also short documentaries. We like that. We like documentaries.
I like documentaries. So we've done some of our own, but they got one on underground wrestling. How are you not going to check that out? I want to I want to see if anybody's doing the Uyghur maneuver. Mm-hmm. So pretty neat stuff and comprehensive, and they've got some stuff that we can't do on our own. So it's a good partnership. We're happy to do it. We'll feature some of their content going forward, and we want to let you guys know about it. So check out AJ+.
Recently in Boston, a suspected terrorist who the FBI had reams of information on, who had been tracking this guy for months, and who were perfectly aware that this guy intended to commit acts of terrorism, specifically beheading Pamela Geller. This is a guy who went out and bought a military knife with a 9-inch blade. This is a guy who they have on audio tape planning terror attacks. A guy who they have saying, instead of going after Pamela Geller, I might be going after cops. I think it's time to kill some cops that are local in the area, and that will be my jihad. The people, the good people at AJ Plus, the partners of the Young Turks, decided to do a video about it. And now they're going to play a couple victim cards here. Not the victim Pamela Geller, not the victim of the cops of the Boston area. No, not the victims of this terrorist planned attack. No, he is the victim. Why? Because he's Muslim and he's black. This is a joint victimization card that is being played here. Poor Muslim, poor black guy, isn't he oppressed? As he plans to behead people, isn't he oppressed?
He had two things against him. He was black and Muslim. The black man in this country is an endangered species.
The black man in this country is an endangered species? Let me just pause that real quick and point out the fact that it is a shame that 93% of black people are killed by white people. You know, I as a white person apologize for killing 93% of you that die, and many of these young black men do die. And it's my people, the white people, who kill 93%. Wait, what? Hold on. Getting a little note here. Oh, it's black people that kill black people. Well, why don't you guys stop hunting each other down in the streets? Oh, right. Poverty, racism, slavery. Okay, it's my fault anyway. I'm sorry. Thank you for clearing that up. Gotcha. He's accused of plotting to behead a police officer. He's accused. He's accused. He's accused because he was plotting to behead a police officer. No, it was actually Pamela Geller he was going to behead. He was just going to kill police officers. I love the fact that as they're painting this erroneous bullshit, like, you know, it's allegedly he's accused of, here's a false accusation of, they're showing the fucking knife that they found the guy holding. Look, the raindrops on the knife. That's because it was a rainy day in Boston. This is the knife the guy had on him as he was lunging at police officers and FBI agents who simply wanted to talk to him. But no. Oh, Lord, 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 my Lord, my Lord, oh, my Lord, 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 oh. Do you know who they're talking to right now? Do you know who AJ Plus is talking to? The partners of the Young Turks. We spoke to Imam Abdullah Farouk. Do you know who this guy is? You're going to love this. This is a radical Muslim extremist, jihadist, fundamentalist, recruiter of young people, radicalizer of young people, formerly associated with Northeastern University. He was let go. A prominent Islamic figure, Islamist figure in the Boston area. We will get to him. You will find out who this guy is. First, let's listen to what he says.
The bottom line is there was reckless endangerment. See, the young man, or the victim...
The victim, wait, okay. The guy who had been watched by the FBI, everybody knew the guy was a radical jihadist, planning multiple terror attacks, planning in the imminent future to kill cops, planning to behead a woman, lunging at police officers with a big-ass knife. That's the victim? Oh.
Was surrounded by 5 police officers and FBI, and they approached him in a very reckless manner at a shopping mall early in the morning with school buses passing by and pedestrians and cars. Would that be the best way? They knew where they lived. They suspected that he was dangerous. Why would they do this out in the open?
Okay, wait a minute. What does school buses and pedestrians... Where is the pedestrians, first of all? Cars? They didn't stop the guy in the middle of a freeway. There's nobody around. And what were they doing? They're saying, show us your hands. We need to talk to you. You're under arrest. Whatever they were saying, he did not comply with the commands. Put the knife down. He didn't. He didn't want to. This was his jihad moment, his Allahu Akbar moment, his flaming out of this world. Oh, he could have put the knife down. He could have gone into questioning, but he would have gone to jail. He is a known terrorist. Why do it out in the open? Why not? This is away from people. What, you'd rather have a siege on his apartment? Endanger the people at that place? Where do you want to confront this guy? This seems like a perfectly legitimate place. He's walking out. We know where he is. Nobody's around. Let's bring him into custody. Jesus.
You know, what we find that's going on with the black men in America is that if you can't incarcerate them, then annihilate them. They wanted him alive. He would be alive today.
Oh, right. Oh, right. This guy's Martin Luther King all of a sudden. Oh, my God. Oh, he's black, guys. He's black. That's what this has to do with. This is, the black man. He's being suppressed. We're hunting down a black man everywhere we go. Right. Nothing to do with our months-long investigation of this guy's imminent plan to behead people and kill cops. No, nothing to do with that. It's his color. Fucking racist bitches. You see this shit? Love it. This is just a Hail Mary of fuck white people. Aren't they all racist? Jesus Christ. I love it. Just pops up everywhere. They did want him to be alive, but he pulled out a knife and he attacked cops and he resisted arrest. So, yeah.
So this whole thing, this is a mess. And it's cost the life of a young American boy.
I love how he's getting younger and younger as the conversation goes on. It's amazing. The man is getting more and more innocent. Look at this. He started as a young man. Now he's a young boy. He's not just a boy. He's a young boy. He's 26. That's not exactly young, especially in the Muslim world, where 10 is old for a woman. You don't want to be tapping a 10-year-old. They're not tight. Okay? Gravity has taken its toll on a 10-year-old's body. You want to get 9 to 6. That 9 to 6 range, that's ideal.
Just 26 years old, and probably didn't make the best of decisions. But I don't think that it warranted his death. He didn't take anybody's life. And if he was threatening to take somebody's life and they wanted to apprehend him, then they most assuredly could have very easily have done that. My impression of him was that he was impressionable.
He was impressionable? This is just coming from the horse's mouth. The evil, bearded horse's mouth. He was impressionable by guys not like you. You. You are the guy that poisoned this guy's brain. You are a known jihadist. You will not believe who this guy is that Al Jazeera Plus is interviewing.
If what they say is true, then he had to be impressed by others than what Islam teaches.
Right. Islam. The real Islam is peace, guys. The real Islam is just, oh man, it's hippy-dippy carpenter shit. You know what it is, you guys? Forget all the violence and the mayhem and the killings and the terror attacks. That's not real Islam. The real way to follow a child rapist, pedophile, warlord, beheader of human beings is peace. That's the real interpretation of Islam. Fuck.
The media had him to think that that the woman down there who's drawing pictures of the Prophet, that they don't even know their insulting behavior insults them, not the Prophet Muhammad.
Oh, God. Another quick shiv, knife attack into Pamela Geller. Another opportunity that has come and went where they did not disparage the people that tried to kill this woman. They, in fact, criticized her behavior. I mean, this is another morally reprehensible moment in time. Fuck these people.
There's an old expression that we have in America, sticks and stones will break my bones, but your names will never hurt me. So we have to take a higher ground unless we get caught up in the muck and mire of their diatribe.
And this guy from Arizona, the ex-Marine, who is a subscriber of mine, who has been sending me private messages and is going to be playing my video on his website, how apropos is his t-shirt now? Yet another vicious, ridiculous situation where a guy is planning on beheading people in America in 2015, and the simplistic yet poignant message of fuck Islam seems completely appropriate. I'll widen it out for you. In case you happen to not be an anti-theist at this point in your life, somehow you've navigated through the world without becoming an anti-theist, which is almost a miracle. Ironically, you not being an anti-theist is almost proof of a god, because that is a miracle. Not only fuck Islam, fuck Judaism and fuck Christianity and fuck religion altogether. However, it's a spectrum too. Turns out that's on a spectrum. So no, it's not equal to say fuck Islam and fuck Judaism, because those religions are incredibly different. And the people that follow those religions do incredibly different things. And the number of people who follow those religions in a fundamental way, who actually believe in the doctrines of Judaism and Islam, those numbers are totally radically different. So while it's fair to say fuck Judaism and fuck Islam, there's way more that needs to be said about it.
Fun for everybody. We've got a new partnership. It's with AJ Plus. That's the digital-only channel for Al Jazeera. And they're doing a bunch of great content. Look, the overall thing is voice of the voiceless.
Yes.
That's pretty good. We like that. We like that.
We do
it's
like
kind of a
that.
TYT thing.
We like that. We like that. It's sort of a TYT thing. You son of a bitch. Fuck off, Jank. Okay, so who is this dude? So who is Imam Abdullah Farouk? Farouk Atay Adonai Alachenu Melech Hanaam. No, that's not his. I don't think it's Farouk. I think it's Baruch, but different guy. But who is he? Who dat? Who dat? Who dat? Who do dat? I'll tell you who dat. Dat be this guy.
In 2004, FBI Director Robert Mueller held a press conference where he revealed the 7 most wanted al-Qaeda terrorists in the world. One of them was unusual.
Atheism-is-Siddiqui is an al-Qaeda operative and facilitator. She attended colleges in the Boston area and is believed to have left Boston in January of 2003.
In 2008, Siddiqui was arrested in Afghanistan and charged with attempted murder for firing an assault rifle at FBI agents. She was caught with plans for a chemical attack on New York City and a large quantity of cyanide. She is now serving an 86-year prison sentence.
The case of Afia Siddiq is significant, and I think it's a great example of how a seemingly attractive, smart, well-natured, good-natured person, American citizen, could become a jihadi. How is it that she came to be a MIT grad and then gets arrested overseas as an al-Qaeda operative? What the heck happened there?
While studying at Boston's MIT and Brandeis universities, Siddiqui became one of the most active members of a cell of al-Qaeda activists who were followers of the Blind Sheikh, the mastermind of the first World Trade Center bombing. As Siddiqui became more and more radical, she began frequenting the mosque of Imam Abdullah Farouk, and he began helping her distribute jihadist literature to local prisons, where he had also served as a Muslim chaplain. Farouk gives inflammatory sermons to Muslim congregations around Boston.
Why should you not struggle, fight if you have to, in the way of Allah, when those who are weak amongst you from amongst and ill-treated and oppressed, it adds here, this is an oppressed, men and women and children whose cry is, our Lord, rescue us from this town whose people are oppressors. You know, and if anybody in the world is to be brave, it must be us. You must grab onto this rope, grab onto the typewriter, grab onto the shovel, grab onto the gun and the sword. Don't be afraid to step out into this world and do your job.
And in closing, I say, Wal kafirun aida, and the disbelievers, they're watching us too. Know that, and behave as though you're being watched.
Imam Farouk is the Muslim chaplain of Northeastern University, the largest university in Boston, and the 4th largest private university in the country. Northeastern chaplain Farouk's extremist past raises serious concerns about the possibility that he is promoting extremism at the Islamic Society of Northeastern University, or ISNU, the Muslim student group on campus. Farouk is that group's official spiritual advisor. Before Afia Siddiqui was even sentenced, Chaplain Farouk was already using her trial to incite other Boston Muslims at local mosques against the U.S. government.
I brought some papers tonight that I'm going to ask if I could give out regarding a woman who is presently suffering, this woman, Afia Sadiq. Some people are afraid to get involved with politics and things that are going on, but you know, after they're finished with Afia, they're going to come to your door if they feel like it. You know, this Patriot Act permits them to come anywhere they want at any time.
They say that she took up a machine gun while they held her captive in the other room and was ready to attack her captives. What a brave woman she is. It is said that we're trying to raise $30,000 tonight. I would say it's better that we raise your awareness and raise your air, as they say, your anger against the government who would level the charges that they have against this woman, and they say she is guilty. I would say she's only guilty of defending herself.
Afia Siddiqui isn't the only convicted terrorist Northeastern chaplain Farouk is supporting. In 2009, the FBI arrested Tarek Mehana, a Sudbury man who often taught evening classes on Islam at Northeastern.
They say the man spent 7 years working on terror plots, 7 years, with targets that include American soldiers and unnamed politicians in the executive branch. Prosecutors tell us he also, and his friends also discussed, spraying gunfire at random shoppers inside a mall.
Mehana plotted to attack the Emerald Square Mall in North Attleboro, 40 miles from the Northeastern campus, in an automatic assault rifle rampage similar to the 2009 Mumbai attacks in India. Indicted together with Mehana was Ahmad Abu Samra, a Northeastern University graduate who is now a fugitive in Syria and whose father has close connections to Farouk. According to the indictment, the two would take extreme pleasure in watching videos of al-Qaeda terrorists mutilating the bodies of American soldiers in Iraq. They considered themselves to be the media wing of al-Qaeda in Iraq. Mehana was convicted on all terror charges against him and was sentenced to 17 years in jail. Northeastern chaplain Farouk participates with Northeastern students in demonstrations in support of Mehana. In February 2011, when Mehana was denied bail, Farouk was seen outside the courthouse telling a Northeastern student not to give up hope. They didn't stop. On April 3, 2011, Muslim students at Northeastern organized a seminar in defense of Tarek Mehana, who they claim is suffering from FBI repression. The seminar was supported by the Northeastern administration through the student activity fee. In 2011, the Islamic Society of Northeastern and other student groups were again given funds from the student activity fee to invite Norman Finkelstein. Finkelstein accuses Jews of exploiting the Holocaust to slaughter Palestinians. The invitation prompted Northeastern's Jewish students to write an open letter to President Aoun. The Jewish community at Northeastern is beginning to feel unsafe and uncomfortable on campus. We are appalled that the university would sanction such hateful rhetoric against a significant portion of the student body.
Speakers like Norman Finkelstein, for example, are frequently the guests of the Muslim student associations on campuses all over America. They love him. He's been called the dream Jew of anti-Semites.
We are here protesting the fact that the university is paying for an anti-Semite to speak. It's being paid for the student activity fee, which comes directly from our tuition.
If you judge by income, American Jews are now, by a significant margin, the wealthiest ethno-religious group in the U.S.
Farouk was visibly excited as he listened to Finkelstein's anti-Semitic speech. He was joined in this excitement by some of his colleagues at the Spiritual Life Center, a Northeastern department that claims it strives to serve, support, nurture, and celebrate the spiritual and religious well-being of all the NU community. The religious leaders offended Jewish students for supporting the notorious anti-Israel speaker.
The entire Spiritual Life office was sitting in the front row wearing keffiyehs, endorsing and applauding everything that Norman Finkelstein had to say. The issue here is that the Spiritual Life Department is here as a group in favor of Norman Finkelstein.
Not favoring him, enjoying his comments when they resonated to be the truth.
This was not the first time members of the Spiritual Life Center engaged in activities deeply offensive to Jews.
So once again, let's bring it in. Bring it in. Come on in. All the flying monkeys, come here, please. We're going to come close to the mic again. Now, I'm going to talk to you as if you're right next to me, because this is... Do you hear the bird in the background? I feel like I'm in a Disney movie with that bird. Now, what you have to understand is who the enemies are and who needs to be called out for their heinous dog shit. And that is Al Jazeera Plus and their partners in crime. Crime. The Young Turks. This is outrageous, scandalous shit that we are witnessing, and we need to do something about it. So stretch out your little monkey wings, because they're going to be called into action yet again. You must fly. You must tell the Young Turks. You must tweet the Young Turks. Please tweet that Armenian genocide-denying buffalo that he is in league with blatant supporters of terrorists. This should have been known when you get in bed with Al Jazeera. Tweet Anna Kasparian. Point out her hypocrisy. Tweet Al Jazeera Plus. Now I want you to fly. 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 Fly, my pretties, fly. And if you see Dorothy or her little dog, tell her I will get her too, because Dorothy is also a Muslim apologist and a supporter of Islamic terror.